Shalom Israel, first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bahashem HaKakodash, the honors to the elders, the apostles of Great Stone. Shalom to the brothers in the highways and the byways, preaching and teaching His word in sincerity and in truth. Your brother Shapal from the James Jamaica camp. I want to speak a bit on this bread and circus, thing that it's from ancient time, but today them still use it because it does serve a purpose. Now, what is bread and circus? Let's get in. Let's get into the Wikipedia. It's a bread and circus, bread and games. In a political context, the phrase means to generate public approval, right? Not by excellence in public service or public policies, but by diversion, distraction, or by satisfying the most immediate or base requirements of populace by offering, right, palliative, for example, food, right, bread, or entertainment, right? It's a juvenile originally use it to what's that word? Decree. To decree its selfishness of common people. It says, on their neglect of wider concern. He said the phrase implies a population, right? Erosion or ignorance of city duties as a priority, right? So these things, in Roman time, they would put on games in the Colosseum, and it would distract people from, public policies, or if they wanted to change certain things, and they knew the people would have an uproar. They would put on these games, and it would amuse people and distract, give away food and, these lavish, throw parties for the public and all sort of thing. It would soothe certain anger, right? And then they would just go ahead and do whatever they're doing. Now, today in 2026, these games, right? I would say we're currently coming out of the World Cup. Right? These games are used today as bread and circus. It's the same thing back then, and it's the same thing now. Let me just play this video.
Job worth $2 million a year. That's why they pay athletes these fantastic salaries. I was listening to the radio the other day.
Let me just put this back.
There is no job worth $2 million a year. That's why they pay athletes these fantastic salaries. I was listening to the radio the other day. They just contracted to pay one player on one team $6 million a year. And why is that? It's the Roman circus. What does the emperor do when the people become restive, and when the people are asking questions, and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor? He sends them to the circus. He creates a circus. He builds a giant coliseum, and he begins to throw the Christians to the lions, and he has great chariot races and football games, basketball games. All to keep the idiots preoccupied with things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire.
Right, and if you really look at it, so out here in Jamaica I can speak for, right? You can see it out in the world, because on a wider base it's the same thing. You have grown men sitting down and speaking about a football game, right? That has nothing to do with them. And the way all these men are speaking about the game is so passionate. You can feel the passion and, everything you're oozing out of these men. They're invested in these games. But certain policies that is going to affect them in the long run, what the government basically, implement right now as we speak. It's neither here nor there. These men are more passionate about sports than what you see, Messi dribbling the ball and these men will sit and drink and talk for days and hours. You know what I mean? Days upon days. They would even leave from work to basically join, themselves in conversation, if you watch the match and all of that, you know what I mean, but the policies will affect you and your kids down the line. It's not important. This is what's important because what people basically want to ease certain pressure off of them. They don't like confrontation. That's how our people is, man. You know what I mean? So the football is like a escape. They don't have to deal with the heavier matters. The mind is getting crazy. But get just finish the video and we'll just get some scriptures.
Entire world, so that they don't have the time to learn what the truth is, so they don't ever get smart enough to learn how they're being manipulated, so they don't ever question the emperor. When 150 of the most powerful men and women in the world can meet in secret in Baden-Baden, Germany, and plot the fate of billions, and nobody even cares about it, but 6 football players go to lunch together, and it's in the headlines across the country, you have a reflection of the society in which that exists.
Right. That's the society which exists today, man. All right, this is Psalms 64 and we start at verse 1. It says, to the chief musician, a Psalms of David, hear my voice, O Yahweh, in my prayers, preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Say, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, right? From the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. So these men have secret counsel where all of these things that we're speaking about is already been planned. Even the matches, the whole World Cup, everything is fixed. And people are saying it's the most corrupt World Cup, but we're not even going into that. But it does goes to show that Esau, Edom will put a distraction in your face. Meanwhile, everybody's over here watching the World Cup and cheering on for Brazil, Argentina, Spain, France, and so on and so forth. He's over there bombing Iran. The same day that Iran was playing, man, their country was being bombed. See that recently you have Iran hitting a lot of U.S. military base in Jordan, and that happened recently. I think it was a day or two ago, And there also, the issue out here in Jamaica is people who now are driving their cars, their license is at risk because they are implementing points, right? That if you get a ticket for some minor things, your license will be suspended if your ticket stack up to 10 points. Your license will be suspended and you can't drive a car for 6 months, which is going to be harsh on the people. And these policies are policies that are very hard upon the people, and people now really come out and, because here comes the World Cup. And then put it in the right time. You understand me? And look what people are more interested in. These things are going to affect other people, daily, every day. See? Commuters, taxi operators, people going to work, the common man. But Messi and the World Cup is the most important thing. There are other policies that are about to pass, and it's but the secret councilmen of the wicked, these men come together and them create these plans and how to get our people in this basically state of mind, and they created these bread and circus, these distractions, and whenever certain things are happening on a mass, they call it smoke and mirrors. This is happening over there, over here, but when you look over there, there's something different happening, and then distract the people mind over here with the whole World Cup and bread and circus. But over here, there's crazy thing happening where people are not paying attention to. So it's distracted. So a magician work, it's distraction, So it's a wet their tongues like a sword and bend their bow to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. And he say, who shall see them? So they do these things in private. And they say, who shall see them? But the Lord Yahweh Shai sees all, knows all. Right? It says, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thoughts of every one of them and the heart is deep. So the inward thoughts of these men and their heart is deep. He said, these men are not thinking of just get rich and, these men are thinking about ultimate control of the whole planet. You understand? And they don't mind putting everybody on the earth, in a slave type of mentality. Physically, not even a mentality, but physically in chains. You know what I mean? Right? Or systematically. Saying so, this is what these men are after. Right? And all of these things what we see coming into play is just distraction. Look, your politician do it, PNP and JLP out here in Jamaica do it. Whenever there is an election, the amount of parties, the amount of money that's been issued, and the real policies, the real things, what them need to do, like the people need road, people need better schools, the hospitals are shit, man, and all of that. People forget at that time, man, because them hype them up, and them distract them with a lot of parties, a lot of treats, giving away a lot of free things, the amount of money spent. And people say, oh yeah, this is the greatest government ever lived, and they take care of us and people, and then once they're being elected, then it's back to doing, the same madness. But that's how them catch you. It's the same thing, it's just on a grander level, you know, distraction. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's it, man. It's crazy. That's a method being used from ancient Roman time, and it's been effective then, and it's still in effect now, right? But through the power and spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Shemi Shai, there are those that are not going to be a fool to these things. Saying, and we know, we pray the Lord keep us, in this, in the know, or in this faith. You know what I mean? So that's basically the lesson for today. I would like to give our praises and our glory to Yahweh Bashim Shai, Bashim Rakakadash. The honors to the elders and the apostles of Graham Stone. Shalom to the brothers and highways and the byways, preaching and teaching His word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom.